Hey, how's it going? I'm IlaGolden and welcome to Ila Reads. Echo arrived home to find the front door unlocked. It wasn't that unusual since both her parents and Nia's parents also had keys, but for some reason it made her stomach squirm more than a little. Taking a deep, calming breath in, she made her way towards the kitchen, figuring whoever was waiting for her would be in there. As soon as he was in sight, a huge grin began to form on her face, and relief washed over her. Bassoon Moores, her patch, was in his early 50s, but could easily have passed for 35 thanks to his myth genetics. With his chestnut curls and dashing good looks, he was almost always being cast as a leading man and offered parts in classical, tragic, and comical romances. He'd much rather have had a few more turns playing action hero or villain, but work was work, and he was never one to turn down a good part just because he'd played it before. It was this kind of down-to-earth realism which made Echo really admire him. Unfortunately, not everyone saw it that way. Her grandpatch, for example, saw it as a lack of artistic integrity, and never had any qualms about voicing that opinion, loudly. Hey, sweetbat! Her patch broke into her train of thoughts as he took a sip of the tea he'd made for himself. Hope you don't mind me popping round like this. I just wanted to get out of the path of Hurricane Sunshine. Oh, but Patch, you know it's Sonata now, right? Echo couldn't help but mock her sister. Yes, but I have it on good authority that every time I call her Sunshine, the great Alonzo Sweetcharm rolls over in his grave, he smirked. We wouldn't want him resting too comfortably now, would we? The two of them shared a laugh as Echo wheeled herself fully into the kitchen and set about making her own cup of tea. This is what she loved most about her patch. How open and uncandid he could be with her. He'd always treated her like a person with a mind of her own, and that, more than anything, had helped shape her into the well-rounded adult she'd become. Or at least that's what she liked to tell herself she was. So I guess this means you know about me auditioning for Lilith's new production then. I'm not exactly sure what the Sunshine was raging about, but that did come up. He pressed his lips together thoughtfully. You know, there are less destructive ways of letting your dear old parents know about these kinds of things. Sorry, she shot him a guilty look. I know I should have mentioned something about it to you and Murmur, but I figured I should wait to see if I got a part first, and you don't need to explain yourself to me, sweetbat. He cut her off. Thanks to that dead old sod, you've had to fend for yourself throughout your career. It did make me feel a little sad you didn't bring it up the last time we spoke, but, he sighed. When you could have done with our help, you weren't allowed it, and now you can have it, you don't need it. It makes me sad, but at the same time, I'm proud of the independent, successful woman you've become. Prouder still because I know you got yourself here. Thanks. She shot him a warm but slightly sad smile. So, do you think you'll get the part? Honestly, I'm not sure. Everyone auditioning for Chancellor and Lance is amazing, and we all gel together pretty well. Lilith is going to have to make a pretty tough choice between us. So at this point, I think I'll just be grateful to be part of the crew, even if I'm not one of the main two members. Lilith will make the right choice. She always does. That woman is a casting genius. You only say that because she cast you as the evil tyrant's shadow in her last production. She shot him a mocking look as she used her telekinetic abilities to place her tea on the table, whilst using her hands to maneuver herself towards it. With all that makeup I had to wear, I'm not sure anyone realised it was me, he laughed. It was great. She really is one to give anyone the chance they need. Rather than the chance they want, you mean? Echo suddenly felt edgy. It could be big trouble for me if I get a part and Sunny doesn't. She's not like that old sod sweetbat. Not really. If she was, she would still be doing films. He became thoughtful for a moment. Or at least, I hope that has something to do with it. Not that it matters either way. Lilith has never been pressured into casting someone who wasn't right for the part before, and I doubt she'll pick now to start. Well, I have no problems working with her, she took a sip of her tea, but I'm not sure I can say the reverse is true. I'm pretty sure she wanted to warn me away from the production when I saw her earlier. Is that really what she said? No. Echo shifted her gaze away, feeling more than a little guilty for how she treated her sister now. In fact, she didn't get to say much of anything. I wouldn't let her. I just want to believe she's not like him. I do. When it comes down to it. I guess I can understand a little of her anger now. I'm not sure I'd be happy having my big sister assume the worst about me, he sighed. But you do realise this could be a great opportunity for the two of you to patch things up or start over or whatever it is the two of you need to do. Maybe. What is it, sweetbat? Nothing, she shook her head. It's just, you're right, I wish things between Sunny and I were different. I know there's a huge age difference between us, and I wasn't there enough when she was little, and Things are the way they are because of the old sod, not because of anything either one of you did wrong. He shook his head dismissively. I'm just hoping that now he's gone, she'll learn who she's meant to be and not who he wanted her to be. Same. For a long moment there was silence. Cheer up, sweetbat. Pat shot her a smile over his teacup. You have a lot of good things in your life, so why worry about the things you can't change? You're right, I can't change the past. She pressed her lips together for a moment. But I can do something about the future. Sunny and I have the opportunity to readdress the relationship we have, and even if we're never going to be close as sisters, we could at least learn to get on. She was never my enemy. He was. Quite right. He finished his tea. But I think I should be heading off now. If Hurricane Sunshine is still raging, I doubt your mama will be happy I've done nothing to help. Couldn't you hang on a few more minutes? She glanced up towards the wall clock. Nia should be dropping the kids back soon, and they'll be disappointed if they know they've missed seeing you. Well, I would hate to disappoint the little ones, he smirked more than slightly. And I'm sure your mama will forgive me for that. Yes, I'm sure she will too, Echoe laughed. Besides, she knows, as well as I do, you're rubbish at dealing with Hurricane Sunshine. That is true, he grinned. So it's settled then. I'll say hello to my adorable grandkids and then head home. It was the end of another seemingly long day, and Echoe was busy making dinner for herself and Synth. Piccolo was out at a friend's house, which, in all the excitement of the week, Echoe had almost forgotten about. The house felt strangely empty without her daughter sitting at the table trying to get her homework done before they ate so she'd have the rest of the weekend free. It was the same feeling she had when the kids were eating at Nia and Cleo's place. And even though she knew it was insane to want her kids eating every evening meal with her forever, she couldn't help wishing she could. Maybe Cleo was right. Maybe she really was lonely. Giving a heavy sigh, Echoe lifted her eyes towards the window and out across the garden. Synth was playing near the trees and appeared to be twittering away to someone. Instantly Echoe frowned. Synth might have had an imaginary friend, but he'd never spoken to him before. She was about to investigate when the front doorbell sounded, making her half jump out of her skin. As quickly as she was able, she made her way towards the front door, opening it to reveal the almost radiant buzz of Lilith. "Echoe, darling, I'm so glad you're in," she beamed. "I have the best news in the world as far as you're concerned to tell you right now." Oh, she backed herself down the hallway in order to allow Lilith to enter. "I'm sure just by hearing me say that you already know what it is, darling. But what do you say we get a brew going before we talk? Lilith closed the front door and followed Echoe towards the kitchen. "It's the least I deserve after the day I've had. I've spent nearly all of it on the phone, listening to the buzz of excitement of those who got the paths they were after, and listening to the woes of those who didn't. Of course, the best of those have named chorus parts and the odd lines here and there, but you would think they weren't in it at all from the way some of them carried on. Thank goodness Kizzy and Twigs were there to share the workload, or I swear I wouldn't have made it to the end of the day." "So I'm guessing this good news of yours is about my audition then." Echoe put the kettle on and got everything she would need for making their tea together. "Darling, I thought I told you I wanted to wait until we had hot steaming mugs of brew in front of us," she teased. "And here I was under the impression Sunny was the impatient sister." "Sorry," she laughed as the kettle boiled. "But speaking of my sister, did she—" "For everything else she might be, your sister is talented." Lilith was reaching for the cup almost before Echoe had a chance to place it on the table. "And I couldn't really envisage anyone else in the role, not when you both for that matter, look so much like your mama. Although you were the one who inherited her poison grace, that's for sure." "Poison grace is the last thing Chance's part needs." Echoe groaned slightly. "You're about to tell me I'm a speaking member of the chorus, aren't you?" "No, darling," she laughed. "Just because you have poison grace doesn't mean you're not a good character actor. No one got the timing quite like you did. I don't know if that's age or the fact you saw the production live or what, but none of the others could time Chance's lines quite as well as you. And since the wit of the part is down to the timing, and without it the part simply couldn't work, well, my darling Echoe, who else could I cast in the role but you? Please, for the love of light, Lilith, tell me you're being serious." Echoe wished she could bristle with excited fire in the same way May could. "You know I'm always serious about my productions, darling. Congratulations, you have the part. You'll be playing Chancer, and Xander Murdoch will be playing Lance. Although I must say Twigs and Kizzy both had their doubts about my choices. Kizzy wanted Jet playing Lance alongside you, whereas Twigs thought you and May had the better chemistry. Then again, she didn't want Jet having a part at all, which I told her was absolutely ridiculous. Jet is talented, he's just lacking something. So May and Jet will be playing Ribbons and Etch. The chemistry between the four of you is just superb, and I really couldn't imagine a better lineup to play the crew." Before Echo could say anything else, Synth rushed in holding a small handful of acorns. Instantly, everything in Echo felt strangely on edge. None of the trees at the bottom of her garden produced acorns, so where... There's my little man! Lilith cut off her train of thoughts. Look, hear what your Aunt Lily has for you. She pulled a small pouch of sugar almonds out of her pocket. Automatically, Synth abandoned the acorns on the table and reached his hand towards the pouch. Come on now, what do we say, Synth? She half-handed the pouch towards him. Thank you, he bleated as she pressed the pouch into his hands. Before anyone could say anything else to him, he turned back around and whizzed out of the door into the garden again. Such an energetic little thing. Lilith pulled out another pouch of sugar almonds. I have one for Pico too. Where is she? At a friend's for dinner. I can give it to her when she gets back if you like. You know, I sometimes think if my girls were like your little ones, I wouldn't have been so happy to send them away to boarding school. She sighed as she placed the second pouch down on the table. You weren't happy to let them go, Echo playfully narrowed her gaze. You wallowed every time you thought about it for months before and after they went. But it's what the twins wanted. I know, darling, but sometimes I wonder if I really should have let them go. There are plenty of good local dance schools they could have attended. Why did they have to go to Sutton? Because it's the best, and they're both talented and passionate. You couldn't have stopped them from going even if you tried. Just a sweet charm to know how to put me in my place, she smirked. Do you mind if I use your phone? Of course not, but I would have thought you were sick of them by now. I am, darling, but unfortunately life sometimes can't happen without them. She picked up the handset from the wall and began tapping in a number. Freddie, darling, do you mind picking me up from Echoes? There was a pause. Twix dropped me off here on her way home. There was just no way I wasn't going to tell Echo the good news in person. Another pause. Of course, darling, there's no rush. But your little Belle was thinking we could order takeout and eat it on the floor like we did in the good old days. I thought maybe we could celebrate the way we used to. Her voice became low and seductive. There was a pause, and then she laughed. Oh, you terribly dirty thing. I'll see you soon, my love. Even before Lilith hung up, Echo found herself half rolling her eyes. On paper, Frederick Bell and Lilith Triumph couldn't be more different, but theirs was the kind of marriage you envied because you knew, despite everything, they were made for each other. Freddie will be here in about half an hour, which gives me more than enough time to run over the rehearsal schedule with you and make sure it fits in with school runs and everything. Lilith turned her attention back to Echo. Of course, darling, you're more than welcome to bring them back to rehearsal with you if and when you need to, but trust me, it's different being an acting mama to being a directing mama for these kinds of things. I figured it would be, she half smiled as she took a sip of her tea. But I'm also thinking about getting them both into one of the local clubhouses. It would be good for them to mingle more with people of their own age. Of course, darling, but the offer's still there if you need it. Thank you. A real smile appeared on her face. So let's get on with this, shall we? Lilith lifted her heavy black bag onto the table and pulled out a few large bundles of paper. First off, this is your copy of the script. I've sent Kizzy off delivering everyone else's, although with the attitude that girl gave me for it, it's a wonder I'm still keeping her around. And here's the schedule as I've laid it out so far. She pushed both stacks of papers towards her. Of course, as you well know, these things may change as we get going, but it's always better to have some kind of formal plan for these things. I've told Kizzy to tell everyone the first rehearsal is on Monday. So why don't you take a look through it and tell me if there's anything off the top which needs adjusting for you? Then I can make them before handing out everyone else's schedule. Okay, give me a second to look through it, and I'll let you know. Enjoyed what you've heard so far? Please consider subscribing to find out when the next part's being released. Thanks for watching. See ya!